Good morning. Happy Friday. Last day of the week. Yay. We have math today. So you may have noticed that last night or evening, I posted the answers to the last math assignment. I apologize. I meant to do that the day of the math assignment, so you had it. But anyhow, you have the answers now for that last assignment. Just a really quick review, if you remember. I know you can't see anything from me, but I'll point some things out when I talk about your notes for today. Remember that a point is a point anywhere in space and that we label that using a letter. Remember that a line goes on infinitely or forever in any direction, but it has to pass through at least 2 points. And we label those points with letters again. So you get a little bit of practice with lines going through 2 points. Remember that you need to put arrows on the ends of your lines because they travel on infinitely or forever in both directions. We also talked about rays, which start at 1 point and run through another point, but only go one direction. So there should have been one arrow coming off of a point in that. And I'll point some of these out here in just a minute with our new notes. And then a line segment is a piece of a line, and that would have 2 points and can be labeled with a letter at either end. But it stops at both ends because it is just a piece of a line. So we're going to take that a small step forward. Again, this is going to probably be a little bit easier, and it's more just about understanding some different terms and those types of things before we get into the measurements of angles. If you'll take a look at the page that we're on right now, you have this in your packet that I sent home. These are the notes for today. If you'll notice, and I'll do a lot with my mouse here, move around so you can follow what I'm doing here. The first thing that we're going to talk about is another word really for a point. So this here is a point, but it is also called a vertex, okay? And a vertex, if you look over here, it says the end point where 2 rays meet and they form an angle. So in order to be a vertex, you must have 2 rays coming out of that vertex. And that vertex, what it does is create this angle right here, okay? So if you think about the corner of something, it's the angle that the vertex creates. Now, some of these terms may look really familiar. When you were younger, you probably learned some of these things. This would be called an acute angle. Now, when we start measuring angles, we should be able to identify whether an angle is acute, right, or obtuse, which I'm going to talk about all of those things. But an acute angle, and I always like to say my reminder for that one is it's a cute little angle. It measures less than 90 degrees. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if you were to go measure the corners of your square wall or your walls that come together squarely, that's a right angle. Okay, so I'm skipping down to the bottom. Right angle, perfect square angle here. So if it's, and that would measure 90 degrees. So if it's less than 90 degrees, so it's smaller than 90 degrees, it would be an acute or cute little angle. So I already referenced a right angle. So if you were to go to the corner of your room, that angle should be a right angle. And should measure about 90 degrees. And that would be a perfect right. That's another way I like to remember that one, is it's right, it's perfect. And that is always going to equal or be close enough to 90 degrees. The next one we have is an obtuse angle. And I kind of think that that one sounds like it's supposed to be a big obtuse or kind of obese angle, I guess. That would be any angle that measures more than 90 degrees. So notice if I were to make this a right angle, I would draw a line straight up like that, and it would create a square corner where the vertex connects the 2 rays. In this case, it goes beyond a square angle or is bigger than 90 degrees, okay? So anything bigger than a 90-degree angle is called an obtuse angle. Now, the last one is a straight angle. Well, clearly we have a point here, or vertex, and we have a completely straight line. That, of course, would be a straight angle. Now, all straight lines or straight angles should always equal 180 degrees. Okay, so 180 degrees is a flat, straight line. That angle would measure, if I measured it just like that, 180 degrees. So one more time from the top, and then I'm going to show you what you're doing here for your assignment. So this little guy again, the point that holds those two rays together, that's called a vertex. That's what creates the angle when two rays meet. Any angle smaller than 90 degrees is going to be an acute angle. Any angle that measures 90 degrees is a perfect or right angle. It has to measure 90 degrees to be a right angle. Then we have the obtuse angle, bigger than 90 degrees. 92 degrees, it's obtuse. 100 degrees, it's obtuse. Until, of course, we reach 180 degrees, which is a straight angle or a straight line, should always measure 180 degrees. Okay, so for your assignment that goes with this, really all you're going to be doing is just labeling the angles. So I'm going to go, where am I at? This one. Okay, so this is your assignment. Basically, you're going to look at that angle and you're going to decide, is it right, is it acute, or is it obtuse? Okay, so pretty easy, I think. So go through there, and that angle scoop page is where you can put your answers. If you prefer to put them underneath the angle, I'm okay with that too. That's totally fine. But get some practice with that. Now, if you look at your schedule, you should be doing your daily warm-ups or your bell ringers, which is that one problem. You guys have seen those every day since the start of the year. So be doing those. I'm going to give you the answers to all those things. I think at the end of these 2 weeks, I'll just give you a big answer sheet to check your answers over. But have your parents help you with those, because I know some of them are tough, but they're intended to be real world situations that you're going to answer some questions to. So there's that. And then I also added a couple of extensions. If you notice, I gave you a tic-tac-toe game that you can use if you have a QR reader on your phone. You could do that with a sibling or parent. And basically what you're doing in that is you're identifying the angles just like you do in this assignment. And it's sort of a little tic-tac-toe game. So I gave you the directions, the instructions. There should be a QR code on that for you, where it has QR codes on it. And those little X's and O's are sort of just printouts that you are chips, I guess you can use for the X and O. You can use other things too if that works for you. One other thing that I put in there that I mentioned when I posted this lesson is that I am going to have you guys connect with Dynamath. That is through Scholastic. They offer all kinds of different math videos and games and readings and math worksheets. So this is a resource for you. It's a resource for your parents, but I did assign you to try out this wild water slides. So now the next thing I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to go into what to do with Dynamath. So if I'm overwhelming you because I've already mentioned all your notes, your assignment, your bell ringer, your tic-tac-toe game that I included, pause. You don't have to listen to this whole thing all the way through. Pause when you're ready, come back to me, and then take a look at what I'm going to do with Scholastic Dynamath. So if you're ready, in Scholastic Dynamath, I'm going to give you the link in Google Classroom. And once you get there, you're going to log in, click login. You're going to go to where it says, I am a student. And you're going to use the password, the classroom password that I have provided to you, which is daybike7. And then you're going to sign in. Now, the easiest way to find what you're looking for is to look at the title that I gave you and just go on up here to enter keyword. Okay, so today is Friday, March 20th, and I wrote that your extension was wild water slides on Dynamath. Okay, so I'm going to type in wild water slides. Look at that, it already pops up for me. And it's searching. And if you go down here, you'll notice wild water slides is what I want you to look at. Now, if you'd like to take a look at all these other things here, and I did assign, let's see, I can't find my notes. I did assign one of these games, Building China Fast and the Angles action game later on. So you may see this again if you decide to do it today, but all of these things in here you can take a look at. For today though, I would like you to take a look at wild water slides. And with wild water slides is this little article. Now, just like Newsela, you can come over here and you can change your Lexile level. Okay, so you can be at a 660, you can be at a 480, whatever works best for you. Another wonderful thing is they have this text-to-speech option, so it will read it to you. Take your time, read through it. They talk about angles, and obviously in water slides there has to be some pretty good knowledge of how to work with angles. And plus there's some pretty cool pictures of different water slides on here. There is some further instruction on lines and angles in here as well if you'd like to take a look at that. All sorts of different things. Down at the bottom, it's going to ask you to try some of these things, and that is worth looking at as well. So I've given you quite a bit today, I think. I don't think it's hard stuff. I think that you guys will be okay with it. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you have any questions. Make sure you ask your parents or guardians to help you if you need help. Take your time with it. And really today, I only see you guys for math. And then you get the weekend free of me, and we start over again next week. So get in touch if you have any questions. Let me know if you need anything. Thanks, guys.